Shalom and welcome to the final installment in our video series on how to make your Seder meaningful and joyous this year. We hope that you've found these videos helpful and that through them you can feel your clergy celebrating alongside you this Passover, even if only in your hearts, even if only in spirit. You, of course, will be very close to our hearts and in our spirits and at least virtually in our households as well this year. The final installment of our series talks about the final section of the Seder, which is known as Nirtzah. Nirtzah is an opportunity to conclude the Seder in joy and in song and in celebration, and to look hopefully, optimistically toward a redeemed and perfected world when we say L'Shana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim. May we celebrate Seder next year in a rebuilt and restored Jerusalem. One of my favorite parts of Nirtzah is the song Chad Gadya, which means one little goat or one little kid. And the song tells a story of how the purchase of one little goat or one little kid sets in motion a chain of events that impacts the entire cosmos. The angel of death and even God become involved. Some might call this the butterfly effect, or maybe you might want to call it the goat effect. One small action, it teaches, can have enormous and unforeseen implications for good or ill. And so the song challenges us. Take care in what you say and do, because one small act can repair or tear apart worlds. The smallest act of kindness or of violence can echo throughout existence, making an impact far beyond our immediate spheres of influence, reaching even unto God. And so each action and word, and indeed even each inaction or moment in which we refrain from speaking, can help redeem or destroy. I know many of us are feeling that quite acutely this year because we are engaged in something that feels in some way like a small act. For many of us, it actually may feel like a large act of staying home and staying in place. But know that that act is a step toward redemption because it is an act of love and of care and of concern for the entire community and all of God's creations. That act, whether for you it is a small act or a large act, is an act of saving lives, which is, according to our tradition, the same as saving an entire world. So whether you are engaged in small acts of tzedakah, of giving charity, of prayer, of making masks for those who are in need, of caring for a neighbor, maybe doing a grocery shop for someone who is in need, whether you are doing actions of goodness that are small or are large, even if it is just the simple act of staying at home, know that those small actions can compound to the ultimate redemption of the world. And that is the topic of the very end of the Seder too, the ultimate redemption of the world. The Seder concludes with the exclamation, L'Shana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. That refers not only to the fact that most Jews have yet to return to our homeland, but also that our world remains in a state of exile. As tragic events remind us near daily, and indeed we are living through a moment of tragedy and despair and challenge right now, reminding us that our world is still in dire need of repair. Next year in Jerusalem, therefore, is not simply a hope. It is a challenge. Next year, we can and will celebrate Passover in a world of shalem, of shlemut, of wholeness and peace. Recognize that the suffix of the Hebrew word for Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, is etymologically the same as the Hebrew word for peace, shalom. But we will only make it to that kind of world if we do all in our power to make it so. So, as we exclaim at the end of the Seder, L'Shana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem, may we take it as an expression not only of hope, but also as challenge to do everything in our power, whether those acts are small or large, to help usher in our world as it is, our broken world, the world of pain and tragedy, but also of goodness and kindness and righteousness, and help elevate the good, help illuminate the light, and help be part of what leads our world toward ultimate redemption, toward a rebuilt Jerusalem. L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim habnuyah. May we be able to celebrate next year in a redeemed and perfected world. And may you and your family and everyone you love and our entire community and indeed our entire world have a Chag Sameach, a happy and healthy Passover.